Hello and welcome back to OCAA Volleyball on M-Link. I'm Cody Lake.
And I'm Wes Linwood.
And we're gonna see if your Mohawk Mountaineers can do the same thing as the girls team did earlier today, and see if they can beat the Redeemer Royals.
Although I think it'll be a lot closer of a game,
It'll be more of a challenge possibly than the girls.
as the men's Redeemer team is a lot better than the girls. And that is a huge blast by McFadden to start this off. Redeemer handles it though. And big man Bennett Canny comes in with a nice shot right in through the middle of the Redeemer squad.
Yeah, you got to roll off the fingertips there of a Redeemer player and straight into the court.
Andrew Kong will serve now. And he serves it right in the net. Redeemer will take that. Now Mitchell Harris will serve for Redeemer. Dig there by Chris Ashford. And Owen King goes in for a powerful shot, and he ends up picking up the point as it went off the fingertips of the Redeemer squad and out. Now Owen Keegan will serve. And that's a powerful serve, but he unfortunately could not get it over the net.
And expect a lot more powerful serves coming from Owen Keegan tonight. That's kind of his MO.
Brady DeBoer has the serve. That will go out of bounds. Mohawk will pick that up on the point off the service error.
Yeah, smart play by Dashford there just to let that one go right by him. He easily could have taken that one because it was a close call, but he knew that it was going out, so he just left it alone.
Candy will now serve. That is a huge block by Brandon Kokless and Raphael Leite, but it was such a big block, it went right out of bounds, all the way past the back of the court. And now Lennon Bonkis will have the serve. And a nice smart shot there by Brandon Kokless as he faked that he was going to absolutely kill it, but he just put just enough power to get it over the net, and it dropped nice and easily right in the middle of the court.
Yeah, beautiful roll shot there.
Mitch McFadden will now serve.
We'll see if he can get this one over, and he will.
That looked like a little bit of an awkward dig, but Redeemer manages to keep it alive and send it over. And that was a powerful shot, but Redeemer will pick up the point as that was on the outside of the little boundary pole on the net there. And now Ruben Middle will serve. That is a nice, powerful shot there by Raphael Leite, but it gets handled easily by Redeemer.
Nice dig by McFadden there.
A nice one-hander. And Brandon Kokless has a nice, powerful shot right off the hands of Down. This is a close game and a quick start we got as it's 5-4 already.
Yeah, and points coming in plenty, but that doesn't mean the rallies haven't been good. They've been action-packed so far, and it's setting up for a really nice game.
And that is the point for Mohawk, as that was 4 hits after they put one into the net. Now Brandon Kokless will serve. Just a little bit of an awkward dig, but Redeemer handles it. And a sprinting and diving effort by McFadden as he tries to send it back, but just couldn't get the angle on it.
Yeah, good effort there, but he definitely isn't a digger at heart. So that one was going to be a tough one for him all the way.
Noah Boyes. And they send it over. And McFadden sends it over. Redeemer looks to set up a cross-court shot. A diving effort, a double diving effort by Owen Keegan and Andrew Kong to keep it alive. And Mohawk sends it over. Redeemer sets up. And they have a powerful shot that Mohawk blocks, but it goes right off their hands and out. For Redeemer to pick up that point. We're all tied at 6s now. Noah Boyas will still have the serve. The awkward little dig there by Chris Dashford. And Mitch McFadden comes flying into the pole of the net to keep it alive. Sends it to Redeemer, but they got it back. Back and forth we go here. And just a missed play by Redeemer. The set was over his head, and he just was not able to get that. Mohawk will pick up that point.
Yeah, Mitchell Harris, the intended target on that set, but it kind of just, like you said, kind of just went right over his head, and he didn't even have an opportunity to hit it.
Rafael Leite had that serve there. And that was a powerful shot by Brady DeBoer to keep it at 7 here. Now Pearson Stiller will have the serve from Surrey, BC. That is a powerful shot, but it hit the outside of the boundary pole on the net. Mohawk will pick that point up off the service error. So you can have all the power in the world you want, but it doesn't do you anything if you can't keep it in bounds. And what a nice scrambling effort by Dashford and Kong. But as soon as they got it over the net, Redeemer immediately set up and sent a blistering shot through the Mohawk squad to keep it tied at 8. Now Mitchell Harris will serve. Nice little tip by Owen Keegan. The whistle is blown and Mohawk will pick up that point as that gets called a double hit against Redeemer. Owen Keegan has the serve, and he took a little bit of power off to make sure he could keep it in. But that is an unfortunate bounce off the side of Bennett Candy's hand and out. Brady DeBoer will serve now. And that is a blistering shot that went just out of bounds. It looked like it was a little close, but just not enough. Mohawks up 10-9, but we have had a back and forth go here.
Yeah, it's kind of back and forth. Definitely a power game up until this point. Not all the power has been working, though.
A nice dig by Bennett Candy there, but unfortunately, Mitch McFadden was just not able to get the angle and get it over the net.
I'd like to see a few more tips tried, because we've seen a lot of really good kill attempts, but they've just all been the kind of the same.
A nice little floater.
Throw it.
Yeah. It's been in general just blasted from either team here. A double diving effort by Kong and Keegan, but they just were not able to keep it alive. The dig there by Kokolis. Rafael Leite is a nice shot, but it is kept alive. And Lyndon Bonkius comes in with a nice shot, but it hits the dead center of the net. Mohawk will pick up that point. Tied at 11 now. A nice block and an even nicer dig there by Owen Keegan. And Brandon Kokolis looks to send it over as Mohawk tries to regroup. And that was a strong blast from Mitchell Harris, but it went out of bounds. Mohawk now leading 12-11 as Mitch McFadden will get the serve. The dig by Harris. And a tip, but Rafael Leite keeps it alive. And that was a powerful shot by McFadden, so powerful that it hit, that ball hit the majority of the net there, but it just went pretty much right through it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that wasn't his plan originally, but it kind of worked out well, because if he would have hit that off the block, there's a pretty good chance that Redeemer would have this point. But he was able to kind of just power, like you said, power it right through the net and lay it into open court.
A tip off of Koklis' hands. And he has a powerful shot that is inbounds. What a nice cross-court corner snipe there to pick up that point. And Redeemer will call a timeout after Mohawk goes up 3 points quickly here after a non-stop back-and-forth battle for the first half of this first set.
Yeah, it's been a pretty close game up until this point. Mohawk does have a 3-point lead. Speaking of close games, it looked to be a close game last time these two teams played, but Redeemer definitely had the advantage. Mohawk won the first set, but started to struggle as they went down the line, losing the next 3 in a row. They're going to have to try something here tonight if they're going to want to flip that.
Redeemer sees themselves down by 3, but that's not very much here, as we have had a very close contest. Now Mitch McFadden will continue to serve here. And a nice tip, but McFadden has the dig to keep it alive. And that is a powerful shot by Koklis, but it gets immediately blocked by Pearson Stiller and Noah Boyas. Now Ruben Middle will have the serve. And that was a nice tip and an even nicer diving by the tip of the fingers dig there by Ruben Middle. Wow. And that is a hard, powerful shot by Mitchell Harris. But Mohawk will pick up that point as it goes right to bounce. Now Brandon Koklis will serve. That was a powerful shot that Mitch McFadden was not able to get to. Now Noah Boyas will have the serve. And what a powerful blast there from Owen Keegan. Just sends it soaring past the Redeemer squad. And now Raphael Leite will come out. And Alex Tripp will go in.
Yeah, and we all know Owen Keegan for his powerful serves, but he's starting to make a name for himself and kind of build a slot in this starting lineup as well with those deadly kills. Because he will. Oh, that was dirty off the face, but we already know that he can get those really nice serves and he can be a nice serve guy for you and get a lot of aces. But whenever he's able to bring his offense to the table as well, he kind of just makes himself a really dynamic player.
You're definitely right about earning himself a spot on the roster. As the first couple of games we saw here, he didn't have a whole lot of playing time, but he's just been playing more and more as the games go on. That was a nice shot by McFadden, but it got blocked and kept alive. And that was indeed in a powerful and well-aimed shot from Redeemer. Pearson Stiller will serve. Redeemer only sees themselves down 1 point now. And that is well out of bounds there. Mohawk will pick up that easy point off the service there. The dig. And a powerful shot, but it is kept alive by Chris Dashford, but unfortunately he cannot keep it in bounds. Mitchell Harris will serve for Redeemer. The dig. And just a tip. And it is kept alive, but it goes out of bounds. That was a nice scrambling effort by Bennett Candy and Chris Dashford to keep the ball alive, but unfortunately, they could not keep it in bounds. Mitchell Harris will serve again. That's a huge dig by Chris Dashford, but unfortunately, it comes in a little too much and could not get it as they just throw it right to the backcourt as he rushes in, thinking it's going to be a close to the net shot.
Yeah, and that's twice in a row there for Andrew Kong to kind of go up to the net, not facing the net. He looked like he was going to go set it, but he knew the ball was going over the net, so I'm not too sure what his whole plan was there. Like, it would make more sense for him to go up facing frontwards and attempt for a block. I realize he doesn't have a very big size, but he does get over the net quite well.
Definitely, and to our surprise, Redeemer has their first lead of the game right now after Mohawk has been on top the majority of the time, but now Redeemer up 18-17 here in the later parts of this first set.
Yeah, and then you get a look at Steven Stone. He was trying. He's definitely going to want to try and make sure that this team doesn't slip here and give up this lead anymore and start to even have a chance at losing this set now, obviously. And if that happens, he's definitely going to feel like they definitely gave this one up.
Just about to get started here after that quick timeout. Mitchell Harris will continue to serve. That was a laser beam, but Chris Dashford handles it easily. And then Mitch McFadden has a laser beam of his own that just goes right off the back ankle of Harris and out. And now Owen Keegan will serve. Let's see if he can serve up some fire here. And just an awkward low dig, but Redeemer keeps it alive. And a tip. And a powerful shot from Mitch McFadden, but unfortunately he cannot get it over the net. Now, Wesley Shilstra will serve for Redeemer. The backstep by Andrew Kong and a nice flying tip by McFadden. And Redeemer barely handles that and gets it over. And McFadden comes in with a nice cross-court shot, but Redeemer handles that as well. And they send a tip. McFadden with the dig. And that is a point for Redeemer as they call that a double hit. Redeemer now up 20-18 here on Mohawk after Mohawk led the majority of this set. And Shilstra will serve again. A powerful shot gets blocked. That was a huge block for Ruben Middle on Mitch McFadden.
And now Redeemers found themselves with a 3-point lead and just 4 points from closing this first set out. Mohawk's going to try and flip this around here.
Shilstra serves again. A nice quick shot there by Bennett Candy gets handled by Mohawk, but that is a blistering shot that goes out of bounds. Mohawk will pick up a point to try to slow Redeemer's roll that they got right now as they make two substitutions. Raphael Leite will come in, and so will Tyler Cainthengrath. And Tyler Cainthengrath will now serve. Nice block on the tip there by Raphael Leite. Redeemer scrambles to keep the ball alive, but they get it over. Mohawk looks to regroup. A powerful shot by Brandon Cokeless, but as has been the story so far of the set, that you could almost say why Redeemer came back. It's just the same trick over and over again isn't really working anymore.
No, they kind of just figured out this one-dimensional offense of Mohawk. One-dimensional so far in this first set anyways. They're just trying way too hard, especially to, well, the Mohawk's known for feeding it to McFadden. There's a reason why he's first in kills. But they need to move the ball around. They need to try different looks, the rolls, the tips. McFadden's done like 1 tip and probably 7 or 8 like real strong kill attempts.
Yeah. That is a huge block by Raphael Leite, and he is pumped. Mohawk down 1 now, making a comeback of their own after going down 3. Mitch McFadden will continue to serve.
Yeah, and usually not the best server. That's 3 in a row for him over the net.
And that was just a smart play by Pearson Stiller as he faked the set, but just threw it over the net quick.
Yeah, and we saw one like that earlier from this Redeemer team, and they have the same head coach for both teams, so obviously you know who drew up that play.
And that is a smart decision by Chris Dashford and Owen Keegan, as the ball, a little hard to judge there, as it could have gone either way, but they made the smart decision and let it fall just barely out of bounds. Mohawk still only down 1 here, as we are in this very late parts of this first set. A nice and a double diving effort by Dashford and McFadden, and they send the ball back over from the far back side of the net. But unfortunately, Chris Dashford could not reach that. Redeemer up by 2 here with match point in their possession.
And I realized that didn't end up in the point, but what an effort by Mitch McFadden there. I didn't think he had a chance in the world at that one, but he ended up sending it back over the net somehow from outside in the back corner.
Noah Boyes will have the serve. And that was a nice shot that McFadden had just off the outside of one of the hands of one of the Redeemer players.
Yeah, now Mohawk's going to need this next point here. Redeemer up 24-23. Still set point, but Mohawk could force it into overtime with a really clutch point here.
Raphael Leite will serve, hoping to do that. That is a nice block by Bennett Candy, but unfortunately it goes out of bounds. Redeemer makes a smart choice, lets it go, and they take that first set 25-23. That set looked that set just looked very similar to the girls' game and how close it was. Just a very back and forth. But coming up, we got some replays for you.
Yeah, and it's just gonna come up in a moment. We're gonna see how Mohawk's kind of just been focusing obviously more on their offensive game like they're used to. A lot of their points coming off spikes, as we're gonna see Brandon Cokeless come down with one here, followed by Mitch McFadden grabbing one himself. And on the other side of the court, you're going to see a lot of really good blocks coming up from the Redeemer squad. As so far, that's the story of the first set for Redeemer. All of the really strong blocks off these really good kill attempts. You can see the line score up there. 25-23 after 1 set, and Redeemer obviously got to be happy, but not too happy, as they sit well above Mohawk in the standings, but obviously that doesn't mean anything whenever you're facing off against each other. Mohawk was really good at the beginning of that set, but they just couldn't really mix it up enough, I guess.
No, they started off really strong and they led for the majority of that set, but it's just the same old tricks will only work for so long. As Redeemer finally started to catch on that all they were doing was feeding it to McFadden and Cokeless and then trying to just power it through.
Yeah,
so
and
they just started putting up some solid blocking. And
they'd line up like 3 guys on the team block, and it's just impossible to get through that.
Look at Brad Dow's the head coach of Redeemer. And Steven Stone, the head coach of Mohawk. Both coaches got to be happy with how their teams played, but can't be too satisfied because the teams played well, but there is still quite a few holes in each side's game that they will need to pick up. Mohawk a little more so as they drop that set. But let's see if Mohawk will be able to make a comeback here. Andrew Kong will serve for Mohawk to get this second set started up here. And the awkward dig there by Harris. Chris Dashford has an awkward dig of his own, but he keeps it alive. And Owen Keegan sends it over. Mohawk looking to regroup here. And that was just a smart back set by Redeemer that Mohawk was not expecting to pick up that first point of the set. Mitchell Harris with a powerful serve, but Owen Keegan handles that. And he sends in a nice powerful shot of his own, but that is a point for Redeemer as it goes just off the out of bounds side of the net. Redeemer continuing on the path that they were headed down after the last set. Taking a quick 2-0 lead here. Powerful dig there by Chris Dashford after a even more powerful shot. Mohawk will pick up that point after a quick little blast by Mitch McFadden. Now Owen Keegan will have the serve, looking to serve Mohawk back into the set and the game. That was a nice block by Bennett Candy, but that gets called immediately a point for Redeemer as it went off of him and out of bounds. Now Brady DeBoer will have the serve. A little floater gets over the net. And just a nice powerful shot. And that will be the point for Redeemer as Bennett Candy apparently touched the net in that shot. You can see the net shaking a little bit, so looks like he obviously did. Brady DeBoer will serve again. Dig by Chris Dashford. And a nice powerful shot by McFadden, but it gets blocked as Redeemer will pick up that point. Mohawk seemingly not learning and continuing to try their same old tricks that just aren't working. And Redeemer up 4 points here. Brady DeBoer will serve again. Third one in a row now. And he serves it right into the net. Now Bennett Candy will have the serve. That was a nice hard backcourt shot, but that went out of bounds. But Redeemer will still pick up the point as it tipped off of one of the fingers of one of the Mohawk players. And now Lyndon Bonkius will have the serve. And that is a powerful backcourt shot, but that goes out of bounds by McFadden. Redeemer up 5 points here early on in the second set. That was a powerful shot by McFadden, but a diving effort keeps it alive for Redeemer. And Brandon Koklas has a powerful shot of his own, but another big block by Pearson Stiller. He has been all over those blocks today.
Yeah, he's not even the tallest guy on this team either, so whenever he goes up and he's got a bigger man beside him, you kind of aim for him, but his blocking is so good that you can't even get it through, just him.
That's a powerful shot on a nice setup play there by Redeemer. As Pearson Stiller had a nice little back set. And because of that whole little play, Mohawk sees themselves down 7 points, and that'll force Steven Stone to call a timeout.
And since we got a moment now, Wes, we're going to take a look at the first-year players for Mohawk.
Got Sonny Yim. We've got big man Bennett Candy, easily noticeable at the front of the net. Owen Keegan has been serving up a storm. Elijah Lopez, usually a star, but currently not here. Joel Van Dyke, big name, hasn't touched the floor so far, but let's see if he'll be able to. Alex Tripp and Tyler Kathengrath, a lot of strong rookies.
Yeah, and you know what that says to me? That this team is far from over. Like, they're just starting here, and then a season. It's hard to look far in the future in college volleyball, but they have a lot of good young players that are going to be here for at least another year or two. So they have some room to grow. They're already a pretty strong team sitting in the middle of the standings right now. And it's all just uphill from here, it looks like, for Mohawk, especially with the guys like Owen Keegan coming out of nowhere and from the first half of the season. Now in the second half of the season, filling in for Elijah Lopez, who was another first year, like you mentioned.
Lyndon Bonkis.
That was an obvious net call.
Mohawk unhappy as they've got a couple net calls against them, but that's what happens when you touch the net.
Yeah, you can't really blame the ref for calling that one. That one was a little bit obvious.
Then Bonkis will serve again. That was a nice cross-court attempt by McFadden, but it gets blocked. A diving dig there to keep it alive by Eli Tallkamp. And that was a powerful blast by McFadden, but it just goes out of bounds on the backside. Redeemer up 9 points now on Mohawk. Looking like they're running away with this one. Lyndon Bonkis will continue to serve.
Yeah, and I'd like to see Mohawk try and get the ball to somebody else. I know they have been giving it to Cokeless, but and Keegan's seen some opportunities, but I'd like to see them filter it through Keegan. Try and get maybe like a little Keegan-Candy tandem going on the offense. Stray away from McFadden, and then put McFadden in small bursts to really throw them off.
That's a nice, hard point pickup there from Mohawk. Of a powerful shot. But no, you're 100% correct. Mohawk really needs to look to utilize what they have to make it not seem so obvious that McFadden's going to be taking the blast every time. A comedic attempt to keep that alive by Lyndon Bonkis as he goes for the soccer kick off the wall. Now Mitch McFadden will serve.
At that point, he already knows that he's got no chance at it if he's going to kick it at the wall.
An awkward dig there, and a nice block by Raphael Leite. A diving effort by Harris to keep it alive. And a nice, powerful blast by Keegan goes off the hands of Noah Boyce. It hits the ground. Mohawk picking up a nice little 3-point spurt. Let's see if they can keep it going here.
I like whenever the team makes me feel smart. Say, give Owen Keegan the ball for an attack. What's he do? Gets the kill. But he's unable to get that dig.
Mohawk really needs to step up their blocking here as they really haven't had that many.
Yeah, and that's usually a strong point for this team. It's usually just the digging that they have to worry about. And that's usually just Chris Dashford's plan of attack. But so far in this game, they haven't had the blocks either. And if you're not blocking and you're not digging, well, that's a recipe for disaster.
It's half the game you're not really playing.
Or more.
Brandon Cokeless will serve now for Mohawk. And a punch, but Redeemer manages to scramble and keep it alive. A powerful shot going out of bounds, but Redeemer keeps it in. And they get the point after they floated just to the back court and off the fingertips of Brandon Cokeless. Redeemer doubled up on Mohawk 13-6 here. A little more than doubled up. Noah Boyce will serve. There seems to be a little bit of some argument about that last call there. I'm not quite sure why, but
Yeah, I wouldn't understand. I don't understand what's quite going on, but Stevenson just wants some clarification, possibly. So he's sending Mitch McFadden over there to discuss with the ref. And there will be no change on the call, but Stevenson did say thank you. Ironically or not ironically, I'm not sure.
Redeemer will serve. A powerful shot by Keegan, just right in the net.
Yeah, and you got to be looking for tips in that spot right there. You're a little bit far off the net, so you're not going to be able to get the good down force that you would if you were right up tight. You need to kind of look just to get it over the block and read the play a little bit better.
A nice powerful shot and a diving effort. And it's kept alive by Redeemer and sent over the net. And then a nice powerful shot, but an even bigger block by Brady DeBoer. Redeemer up 15-6 now on Mohawk. Mohawk still not really trying to change it up here.
Andrew Kong will come off now as Alex Tripp will go on.
And that was a nice tip attempt there by Keegan. And that was just a mistimed go up as he whiffed on it. He went to go hit it, but he just didn't take the ball with him when he swung.
Yeah, it was a decent set. There shouldn't have been much problem with it, but he basically just missed that one.
Raphael Leite will have the serve now. Awkward little dig, but Redeemers seem to handle those well so far today. Mohawk not even trying to set up, just trying to get the ball over. And that is a point for Redeemer after it just broke right through on Keegan's hands and he wasn't able to get the block. Scrambling effort by Dasher to keep it alive. But they set up and send it to Owen Keegan, who sends a blistering shot through Redeemer. Mohawk still doubled up on here. They've had a couple bright spots, but too much of a linear style of play to gain any momentum here. Alex Tripp will now serve. That was just a quick tip over the net that McFadden was not able to reach. Mitchell Harris will now serve. And that's a smart play by Mitchell Harris as Mohawk sends a blistering shot right past him, but he chooses to just let it go instead of even bothering to touch it. Now Wesley Shilstra will have the serve. Powerful shot by Keegan gets blocked. Another shot by Keegan gets blocked. And Mohawk tries to come off the block of their own, but it ends up hitting off the tip of the fingers of Paul Wagner and out. Shilstra will continue to serve. That's a powerful shot that goes out of bounds. Mohawk will pick up that point, still down by 10 points here.
Yeah, and they're going to have to try and turn this thing around soon. They don't want to fall behind 2-0 here.
Owen Keegan will send that into the net. Redeemer picks up that point. Redeemer 5 points away from closing out this set. Mohawk doesn't even really seem like they've been in it too much. The dig by Drip. And that is a point for Mohawk. As Lyndon Bonkus touched the net.
Yeah, and as he was going away, he said, "You got me." He knew that. He knew as soon as the whistle blew what the call was going to be.
At least he could admit it. Paul Wagner will now have the serve. And that will be a point for Redeemer as Paul Wagner and Raphael Leite went up for the block. But it landed out of bounds. Redeemer 4 points away from closing out the set here, as Lyndon Bonkus will serve. A powerful shot kept alive there by Eli Tolkamp. And another powerful shot kept alive by Tolkamp. And then a huge block by Noah Boyes. And Ruben Middle. Redeemer 3 points away. Up 22-10 here on Mohawk.
And you can see the two different emotions going on. Joking by the Redeemer squad, happy, just enjoying the game so far. Why wouldn't they? Versus Mohawk, you could see just in a second ago, you could see Mitch McFadden bent right over. They look exhausted. They look beat up. They look like they don't even want to be in this game right now.
And that is just a missed shot by Joel Ward. Just couldn't get anything on it as it just goes right under the net. Not very happy with that one.
No, you can tell the discomfort on his face.
A nice shot. But it's two scrambling efforts will keep the ball alive. And Raphael Leite will come in, and although Redeemer celebrates as if it was a big block, he actually didn't even get it over the net. That'll be another point for Redeemer as they're 1 point away from closing out this set here.
Yeah, and going away fashion, 24-10.
And a big block there by Redeemer. And a nice little tip, it's kept alive by Mohawk. And a powerful shot by Brandon Cokeless, but it just soars over the heads of Redeemer and goes out of bounds. And that will, my mistake, that was a snipe actually. And that was inbounds. Wow. That was such a backcourt snipe. Nobody really knew what happened, but Mohawk will pick up the point. Joel Van Dyke will serve now, trying to keep Mohawk alive here. And now Lyndon Bonkus will come in just to close that out. As everybody seemed a little confused after that last point Mohawk picked up there. As everybody thought it was out of bounds, but apparently it was not. Although it did not matter one bit. And Mohawk will drop that 25-11. And
we saw more in the second set than we saw in the first set, Wes. Blocks being the big story. As you can see it there, a huge block by Middle that time. And now you're going to see one by Stiller. And probably the best of them all is Boinkus.
Noah Boy is 6'9", and Lyndon Bonk is 6'7", just two absolute monsters.
And you can see Elijah Lopez there standing with Brett Tonin, the assistant coach, as Brett's trying to get them pumped up here. And Elijah.
Not to be confused with Ben.
No, his twin brother. That shocked me so much today. I
tried
asked
to
you.
take a double take when
I
they
asked you.
walked in.
I was like, I said, I think there's 2 of them. And you were like, no, I couldn't find the other one the one night. And we saw them there today in between the girls and guys game. And there really is 2 of them. They really are twin brothers and identical at that. Like
As I said,
identical.
I had to take a double take.
Brett helps out. Actually going to do a double take myself to make sure I don't get these names mixed up. Ben Tonin helps out the male. So that was Ben just there a second ago, and Brett does the females.
Hard to figure out which one's which one.
I know.
Exactly alike.
We're going to get a look at the head coach for Redeemer there, as he shouldn't have too much to go over.
And you see Chris Dashford, nice and focused. By far Mohawk's #1 digger, without question.
Yeah, and I think they need a couple more Chris Dashfords on the team if they want to be more of a rounded, overall good volleyball team. They need a couple more guys to kind of pick up the pace and focus more on, okay, well, this is defense. We need to, before we can focus on our offense, we need to start with our defense. Because if you can't finish those digs and you can't get the ball back and you can't start it with a good first hit, well, then the second and third hits don't really matter.
Just about to get started back up here. After that second set, Redeemer will be looking to pull a 3-0 quick one over Mohawk. Mohawk will be looking to keep themselves alive after it was a very close first set, but geez, did Redeemer run away with it there in the second?
Well, we spoke about it after the first set, and the story of the first was basically Mohawk actually had a lead and were playing quite well. But then they just kept going to the same thing, and once Redeemer figured out who Mitch McFadden was, there wasn't much of an issue. In the second set, they did start to try and move the ball around a little bit more and not look for McFadden as much, but it still didn't seem to stop the blocking game of Redeemer, as they had a much better time, 25-11 in the second set.
Mohawk's going to be looking to make a massive comeback here.
And massive would be an understatement. They almost need a miracle to come back against this Redeemer squad, who have kind of just been all over them for more than 2/3 of this game.
A nice tip by McFadden, but to no avail as it gets blocked once again. A nice tip and an effort and a diving effort by Joel Van Dyke to keep it alive, but that will be 4 hits, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's disappointing after Van Dyke got down with the hand on the court to make it bounce up. And they weren't able to get it up again, so it'll be a Redeemer point.
Now Schilster will have that serve. A nice shot by McFadden off top of the net, but it gets kept alive. And a powerful shot from Lyndon Bonkus will pick up the point for Redeemer as it goes off McFadden and out. Now, Daniel Wolfert has the serve. And that will soar over the head of the Mohawk squad. Now Mohawk will take that easy point off the service error. That's a nice point pickup for Mohawk as Redeemer tried. My mistake, that is the point for Redeemer as they sent the ball in the net. But Mohawk came in contact with it.
Because he hit the ball in the net and it went into it.
Very unhappy
and
with that
Steven
call.
Stone obviously not happy with that call, as it was called saying that the Mohawk player touched the net. As that one goes out, the Mohawk player touched the net, but Steven Stone's argument was that the reason that he touched the net was because the ball was hit into the net, and then the ball forced the net into his hand.
It wasn't just the ball that went into the net. A Redeemer player went into the net with it a little as well. So there's a little more. So I feel Steven Stone had a case, but the refs clear did not want to hear it. A diving effort by Chris Dashford there to keep the ball alive. And a big block by McFadden using his face there. Then Mohawk will get called for a reach over.
And Steven Stone's gonna have to relax here. He's gonna get a yellow card.
A little confusion as it definitely did not look like they stuck their hands over the net.
And there goes the yellow card. And I was just trying to listen in on Steven Stone there, and he definitely had some sarcasm in his voice as he goes to tell Mitch McFadden what to say. And that will bring up the red card, as expected. Mitch not too... he kind of knew it was coming as soon as he had to go back over there, but when your coach tells you to go and explain something to ref, I guess you kind of just do what he says.
You gotta go. A lot of shenanigans here.
Yeah, and then that's been an issue as of late, the shenanigans, as you called them. Crowd gets a little clap going here. I'm not sure whose side they're on. I'm guessing not the referees. But last night, the refs played a big part. And you never want to kind of say that you notice the referees in a game. You kind of, if they go unnoticeable and you don't really remember them.
Yeah.
Then I think that's the sign that they did their job really well.
100%.
Last night was not the case, and
So
tonight,
far tonight,
it's been a little bit better. There hasn't been too many complaints from either coach. Just 2 in this set from Steven Stone, and that's been about it.
That was a huge block that we just saw there by Lyndon Bomkis, 6'7". No wonder he's having such big blocks, as he's a tall guy. And that'll be just a little floater over the top of the net.
Yeah, just bad luck for Mohawk there. That's a 50-50 ball. Could either stay on Redeemer's side or go into Mohawk's, and it just kind of landed.
That
and no one
will
was
be
around.
a timeout for Mohawk.
And Mohawk will definitely need to get something figured out. But as we get a moment here, we're going to take out the provincial standings in the West. Fanshawe Falcons obviously sitting number 1, undefeated so far. Humber Hawks sitting behind them at 12-2. And then you can see Redeemer Royals, who Mohawk's playing tonight, sitting number 3. So a very strong team as St. Clair and Niagara rounds out the top 5. Then we've got Mohawk,
Sitting in 6th.
Sheridan, Conestoga, Cambrian, and Boreal sits behind them.
I think they're supposed to be called the Boreal Vipers, but it was spelled a little French there. So it was like Vipers, or however you say it.
Yeah, I just remember them losing awfully. That's what I remember.
Now Brady DeBoer will have the serve. And that will be a point for Mohawk, as that gets called as a double hit. All the players in the Mohawk bench cheering for the referees after they made a call. No, Mitch McFadden will have the serve as Mohawk's trying to make a comeback here and even this up. A diving effort by Andrew Kong. Joel Van Dyke sends it to the backcourt. A nice tip, but it's kept alive by Paul Wagner. And Brandon Coakless is a powerful shot that's kept alive. And Schilstra comes in with a powerful shot, but sends it right over the heads of the Mohawk squad.
And as McFadden goes to serve again here, I think the important thing to note on him is that although his offense hasn't been where it usually stands, his overall game has been much better. I was about to compliment on his serving and not having a single service error before he messed that one up. Other than that, it had been pretty good. And then also his digging, he has a couple really good digs, and he even had a nice back set on that last play. So he's definitely been working on some other things other than his hitting.
And that was an extremely powerful shot there by Lyndon Bonkis. Chris Dashford was just not able to get to it. Lyndon Bonkis will serve again. And Paul Wagner missed that tip, but Brandon Cokless got the shot, and some miscommunication by Redeemer as Mohawk will pick up that point. Still down 4 here. The dig there, and a little push over the net. Mitch McFadden comes flying in from the backcourt, but that does go out of bounds. Ruben Middle will have the serve. A diving effort to keep it alive for Redeemer. And a powerful shot that almost takes out the linesman. And he calls that inbounds. I'm not quite sure how it could be inbounds when the lineman had to jump over the ball so it didn't hit him, but we're going to see.
Yeah, and we might see Steven Stone kicked out of the gym.
And they
after that one.
Called it a point as it wasn't inbounds, but they called it a tip.
Yeah, I and like I just stated, the ref just walked over to him and asked him if he wanted to get tossed, and he said, "No, I don't want to get tossed, but you guys need to learn how to call a game." And that's his quote, not mine.
A diving effort by Chris Dashford, but he unfortunately couldn't get to it. Mohawk seeing themselves doubled up on here. Ruben Middle will continue to serve. A diving dig there by Chris Dashford to keep it alive, and a powerful shot by Brandon Cokless just soars over the heads of the entire Redeemer squad and out.
I'd be a lot happier if Mohawk started to pick the corners here and pick their spots at least, instead of just trying to blast them through the blocks and usually soaring them across.
Just like we saw there, Paul Wagner came in with a powerful blast of his own, but Brandon Cokless managed to pick up the point after a nice shot just went right off the hands of the Redeemer squad and out. Mohawk will pick up that point and try to make a comeback here as Brandon Cokless has the serve. And a misplayed dig by Ruben Middle will give Mohawk a point. Mohawk trying to make a comeback here. And that will be out of bounds, and that'll be on a service error. That'll be a point for Redeemer. Redeemer doubled up again on Mohawk, 14-7 here. Noah Boyes will have the serve. A powerful shot, but Brandon Cokless keeps it alive. But unfortunately, Mitch McFadden could not reach the cross-court shot, as Redeemer will pick up that point. Noah Boyes has the serve. And that will be out of bounds. Mohawk will pick up that point there. Now Joel Van Dyke will come in for Chris Dashford.
Man, I'm surprised I haven't seen Bennett Candy so far here in this third set. Like usual, we want a little bit more from Bennett. I like what I see from him defensively and offensively. As a big man, he's got a lot of skill, and we don't get to see him on the court quite as much as I'd like to.
Very much so. Daniel Wolfert with the serve, but he sends that out of bounds. Mohawk will pick up another easy point there. Only down by 7 here. Making a little bit of a comeback, but not much. But we will see if they can get it rolling. A diving effort by Chris Dashford to keep the ball alive. That's a nice point pickup by Joel Van Dyke there after a nice shot off the hands of Lyndon Bonkus and out.
And one thing to note on the serves here tonight before Andrew Kong takes this one is that there hasn't been a whole lot of net serves, but a lot of these balls have been sailing far, far back and out of bounds.
Powerful shot by McFadden, gets blocked and recovered. Redeemer managed to send a shot of their own right out of bounds. No, that gets called a point for Redeemer as it tipped off the fingertips of Brandon Cokless. And now Shilster will have the serve. Nolan Keegan will have a nice little shot, try to power it over, and he will end up picking up that point as Redeemer wasn't able to handle it. Oh, and Keegan will now serve. A shot there by Bonkus hits the outside of the net. Mohawk will pick up another point there. My mistake, Redeemer picked up that point and must have hit off of the Mohawk player and out. DeBoer had that serve, but he sends it in the net. Mohawk will take that point off a service error. Now Paul Wagner will go in for Chris Dashford as Mitch McFadden has the serve now. The dig. A quick little tip over the net. A powerful shot, but it's kept alive by Shilstra. And a nice little tip by Redeemer that Mohawk was just not able to get to. Chris Dashford going back in. Powerful shot by Brandon Cokless, kept alive by Shilstra. Brandon Cokless has a nice little tip, but he gets blocked. He sends a powerful shot, but a diving effort by Bonkus keeps the ball alive. And that is a point for Mohawk as Redeemer hit the ball on the outside of the net. Mohawk only down by 6 here, looking to try to make a comeback still. Alex Tripp and Raphael Leite going in.
Yeah, and there's still an opportunity for Mohawk to come back, but the longer they wait to start this rally, the more difficult it's going to become. Redeemer only needs 6 points right now to finish this game out.
Alex Tripp will now have the serve. And it's a quick low blast by Noah Boyes that Mitch McFadden wasn't able to dig. Redeemer up 20-13 as Mohawk calls a timeout. Steven Stone got to be just generally overall not impressed with the way his team is playing, and not impressed with the referees, as we clearly saw.
We got a moment here, so we're going to take a look at the Redeemer Royals first-year players. And you can definitely see the list is shorter than Mohawk's. Only 2 players on there, Daniel Wolfert and Noah Boyce. But, like, these guys are tall.
Boyce, 6'9". Wolfert's not that big. He's only 6 foot. But 6'9" by Boyce.
Yeah, this team for Redeemer is definitely a lot older, a lot more of a veteran team, you could call them. But
for sure.
than Mohawk, but
They also have a lot more height.
yeah, that's a big thing. And I noticed that with the girls, I guess a little bit more because there's less players that are over 6 feet than the guys.
For sure.
But Mohawk is they're usually a shorter team than their opponents, and it causes some mismatches. That's why we like to see Bennett Candy in there, because he does have a decent size advantage. But
6'7" and 6'9" though.
yeah, that's a little insane. Bennett Candy sits at 6'6", so just a little bit underneath that.
That is a powerful shot. That is out of bounds as it hits the lineman. Mohawk taking their anger out.
Yeah, and they only got 4 more plays to do it if they're gonna. That's what they're gonna do. As Redeemer close to finishing off Mohawk here.
A little tip, a diving effort by Alex Tripp keeps the ball alive. That is a nice, powerful shot right between 2 Redeemer players as they went up for a block, but got not a piece of it. Mohawk still down by 7 points here.
And that's what Mohawk needs to understand right there, is that it's okay to go for the powerful kills as long as you set it up with a tip or a roll first. They had a nice tip attempt at the beginning of that play, and then it was finished off with a powerful spike.
And that is a service error as that goes out of bounds off the Alex Tripp. At the Brayden Cokless serve. Now Noah Boyas, the 6'9" first year, will serve. A diving effort, but they send it over. A backset by Redeemer as they send it over. And Rafael Leite comes in with a nice little shot, but Redeemer keeps it alive. Lyndon Bonkus comes in for a powerful shot, but he sends it right into the net. Mohawk trying to slowly but surely come back here. Let's see if they can. Paul Wagner will now have the serve. And that is a quick point pickup by Brady DeBoer. As it just goes right in between the hands of Leite and McFadden. Redeemer 2 points away from taking this game 3-0 here. That's a powerful shot by Owen Keegan. That stays in. Nice little shot there to pick up a point. And Rafael Leite will have the serve. And that's just a nice straight down to the ground, quick little flip by Brady DeBoer to pick up that point. 1 point away, Mohawk is Redeemer from taking out Mohawk here. Now Shilstra will have the serve. A big block by Redeemer. They keep it alive and they get it over. But Mohawk manages to pick up that point off a Mitch McFadden shot.
And hanging by their coattails here is Mohawk trying to somehow crawl back into this one. Might be just a little bit too late though.
Owen Keegan with the serve. Looked like it was going out, but they kept it alive. And Brandon Cokless has a nice blast off the outside of the hands of Lyndon Bonkus to pick up a point. Mohawk having a little bit of a comeback here, but it might be too little too late as Redeemer 1 point away from ending this. Owen Keegan serving. And he serves that out, and that will be the end of the game. Redeemer beating Mohawk 3-0, 25-23, 25-11, and then 25-18.
Yeah, that was a really tough one for Mohawk. And it's difficult whenever a team's ranked higher above you and it's a veteran team versus a young team in Mohawk. but it's still it's difficult because they really felt after having a decent matchup the last time these two teams played, they really looked like they had an opportunity, especially in that first set, to come out here and possibly have an upset. But as this game progressed, so did Redeemer and Mohawk regressed. So that was kind of the story on that one. Second set was the worst one out of all of them, 25-11.
And we're going to set it to a replay here.
You're going to see a spike from McFadden on this play. Bounces off the net and finds some open space. And then a block from Ruben middle. Sorry, that was Stiller on that one. Ruben went up for the block with him. And then a real nice tip there for Redeemer, as they were being able to work their way around. And on that last play, you saw Owen Keegan's serve just sail just a little bit too far, and that was the end for the Mohawk crew. And that will be it for tonight. Mohawk fell just a little bit short. They'll be playing Conestoga on Wednesday, January 14th. So you're not going to want to miss that at all. But for now, this is Wes Linwood, and I'm Cody Lake, and this has been OCAA Volleyball on MLink.